play in the NHL. Play under those big bright lights. I wanna play in the NHL. And dance with the ghost tonight. And dance with the ghost tonight.
Welcome, everybody. It's Tuesday. It's 7 o'clock. Well, actually, it's 7:02. Chris can't type. So we're a minute and 48 seconds delayed starting tonight because Chris's fingers are too fat to hit the keyboard and he types too slow. Anyways, I'm Tyler. That's Chris across the way. What's happening tonight, everyone?
You're really getting off to a good start, eh? Coming at me hard. Like, you're
like
gonna
that.
nitpick. We're gonna be here all night.
Jesus. Well, folks, it was a disappointing weekend, to say the least. Chris, your quick thoughts on the game. Don't get into too depth. Just let me see your quick thoughts.
5-man unit
Okay,
does
that's
not
enough.
exist.
That's enough quick thoughts. Go ahead.
5-man unit is not enough. We're not playing a 5-man unit. The outlet passes. Okay, the D's not great. I'm going to concede that right away. But before we heap a shit ton of blame on them, it's a lot easier to make a 10-foot pass than a 50-foot pass when your forwards are flying the zone early. We're not moving as a unit north-south. That's the main thing, I think. And you could be the best player in the world. You could be among the best players in the world, and you could train all season, all year, do everything right. But it's a lot easier when the carrot's the goal. Defense is thankless work, and it's not necessarily instinctive. So I feel like maybe it takes guys a little while to do that. Yeah, that's the main thing for that's I mean among a bunch of stuff, but I'd say that's the main thing that's holding us back right now.
I think it is. Our team's a bunch of pussies. Here's some quick stats for you, Chris. Our hits per 60, only 2 guys are over 5 hits per 60. Podkolzin's at 14.5 hits per 60 minutes. Skinner's at 5.24. Everyone else under that. We're a bunch of pussies. Stuart Skinner gets slashed on the back of the leg. And then for 40 minutes more of the game, no one touches Backlund. You know what? The results are the results. I have some stats to back it up. It's all going to change for the next conversation. But until we're not a team of pussies, we're not a team.
Yeah, I could give you that. Like, nobody likes to see.
Well, you don't have to give me that. I'm right.
Nobody likes to see unanswered hits. I don't think that's the reason why we're 0-3. I don't think that's the main reason.
We're not a team. We're not a team. That's why we're 0-3.
Well,
we're playing individual games.
Foundation of a team is a 5-man unit north-south. Like that's what got us out of the hole.
There's actually 6 skaters on the ice.
Take 13 games.
There's six, buddy, a goalie, part of that 5-man squad. Figure it out.
Wow. Like just go to the lowest common denominator. Like, you can't process. So when I say 5 players, I mean 5 skaters. Like, we got a lot of work to do if you can't fucking process that.
I don't need to process anything. I've forgotten more about hockey than you know.
It's 6.
I've forgotten more about hockey than you know. Just remember that.
Yeah, you've forgotten way more, and it's irretrievable, it seems.
Well, here's my stat I wanted to bring up and why I know the Oilers are going to turn it around. The NHL league average on shooting percentage for a team throughout the year is 9% normally.
Yeah.
Last year, the Oilers finished just north of 11%. Right now, the Oilers are running for the first 3 games, I know small sample size, at 3.5%. So if that jumps to 9, then we're scoring 3 goals plus a game again. If it jumps back to 11, we're at 4.1 goals per game. Guess what? We're going to score the goals. The PK looked better last game. We're getting to the refereeing next, but we're still not getting enough power plays, not getting our guys going enough. But we'll get to the refereeing next. I just look at we're going to turn around. We're going to throw some more hits.
What you're saying
hold on, let me finish here, sir.
Yeah.
We don't need to fall down to a 2-8-1 hole because our D isn't good enough to rip off 16 in a row. But if we win tonight and we get 2 of the next 4, I'm okay being 3 of 5. That's okay because our schedule is tough and we're not a team yet. But it's all going to happen for us. I got some faith. Go ahead, Chris. The refereeing.
Yeah, you could fall back on regression. I mean, that'll happen with the shots and whatnot. But I don't know. Like, yeah, just to your earlier point, you're talking about there isn't anybody in the building that doesn't want to see a response when guys get away with shit like they did with Skinner that last game against Calgary. Uh, what compels a team to like not answer that bell? Like
That
I'd be
slash
losing
is
my shit.
fucked, man. I'm sorry. Let's get right into it. You know what? Let's get another referee. Holy fuck. In Toronto, who makes the video views, right? So, like, I get it. You guys want to make the fucking standard what it is on that no goal. They called one in New York the night before, exact same kind of play. Are they going to call that for 82 regular season games and upwards of 28 playoff games? The NHL, like a guy in the crease too long, like that was the reason for it. There was no contact, but it was a inhibiting ability to move and make the play on the puck. That is horseshit. Absolute horseshit.
Yeah, they've
So
gone back to the
they
Brett
call
Hull.
that goal back. Hold on, I got a speech on this. You're gonna have to listen as a former official. Then they call that goal back. Then literally 40 seconds later, as an official, you're trying to call a penalty on the Flames at that point just to calm everything down because you know the call is horseshit. Because if it was Toronto, it was Toronto. You know it's horseshit, right? So they don't. They let a slash go that's so blatantly an easy, cool goalie interference slash whatever. You call it. The game's a different game. No, you don't call it. So then we look like a bunch of pussies and they're running us all over the place. And after that, the Oilers have 5 power plays in 3 games. I've seen 20 fouls minimum. Gary Bettman's still butthurt. McDavid embarrassed him by not coming up for the Conn Smythe. Gary Bettman told the referees, hey, make it a little harder on the Oilers to start the year. I want to make them pay again. McDavid embarrassed me. I'm a 5'2" lawyer who should have been running the NBA, not the NHL. Beat it, Bettman. There we go. Chris, what do you got to say?
I don't know if his motivation is like he's butthurt about the Conn Smythe. I'd say more like they don't really give a shit about a Northern Outpost market winning the cup because it doesn't play in New York, LA, some of the expanding markets, Utah. I'd say like if there's there's definitely motivation. If I mean there's no proof, but if there's motivation to sort of give us the shit end of the stick, then yeah, like it exists for sure. I don't think it's personal as personal
It's
as you
personal,
say.
man. It's personal.
Let me ask you this.
McDavid embarrassed them. Amazon's filming it. Oh, Gary
So
Bettman's just a dork, a midget
that goal you're
dork.
talking about in New York, like or whatever it was,
Yeah.
like so you're saying that they made a call and it was the opposite where they did let
No,
it
it's a similar play. No, they allowed the goal. Sorry, they disallowed the goal. Same play, but you look back in the playoffs, they don't call goals like that. So I'm saying they've done it 2 games in a row or 2 days in a row. I didn't watch hockey yesterday. It was Thanksgiving. I took the day off from sports. And call that in the playoffs then when a guy's dancing on the crease too long. But they're not going to. What players want, what management wants, what fans want is consistency and true consistency. I'd rather know I'm going to get called no calls all year. You're like a scoring chance injury call guy only. Cool. Referee that way in game 1. And I when I referee, I did in the playoffs too. I was consistent. I was like, let them go a little harder after the whistle. Injury or scoring chance taken away or change of possession. Only time I'd call penalties. You don't need to babysit a bunch of junior age or NHL age players, man. It doesn't need to happen that way.
Yeah, I watched
The
the ref.
refereeing
He
is
didn't mind
stuck
being hated.
near league ground, man.
So let me ask you this, because I fucking hate that they don't have the guys' names on the back of their jerseys like the refs anymore and just those stupid numbers. You really don't know who's calling what. But
well, you have to memorize the
reading,
numbers like a real person, bud.
And also like they did half the refs didn't wear helmets either back then, but like they had Eric Furlat and Kendrick Nicholson who were the refs on Saturday.
Furlat's a bad guy. He's terrible. He's almost as bad as like a lot of guys don't like us from Ontario. They can say they're unbiased, they're unbiased, but they're biased. Like it's just gross.
Like this Kendrick Nicholson, is that a new dude or what?
Yeah, he's new this year or last year. They might have. He's new or he did a split last year. I don't remember him a lot.
Well, I don't know, like that Corey Perry goal that they disallowed.
Yep.
Like all you could say is that he had like a half an inch of blade in the blue paint when the puck went in. Like what else? Like I saw the NHL's
He impeded the
explanation,
goalie's
but
ability to make progress.
he
did.
didn't.
Like everything's going wrong, but like let's be a little positive tonight. Let's do a little positive talk here. Let's change it up. We have a new segment coming up right away. I didn't want it. Chris will explain it all when we're going to bring it up. I didn't want it. I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's bad for our brand. I think the guy we're bringing in is about as smart as a rock. So Chris will talk about that in a bit.
Anybody that's heard you talk is begging for more segments with other people.
Yeah, but not him. So are we gonna be positive? Think Matthias Janmark gets his first hit of the year this year tonight? He's got 0 hits.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe Brett Kulak. Maybe Brett Kulak gets his first hit of the year.
Our third line isn't getting caved like our top two are
Connor Brown.
defensively.
You got 1 hit, buddy. Way to go, Connor. 1 hit, Brown. You know.
So like I was talking about the five-man units and the guys committed to playing as a team defensively and with more structure. So do you think that absence of engagement that leads to that is the same absence of engagement that that leads to those fucking shitty hit numbers?
I'm gonna fire it home all night. They're not a team yet. I would have loved a 4-game road trip to start the year. That would have been much better for the new guys in the team. But no, the NHL wants to sewer the Oilers once again. Mr. Gary Bettman. Oilers are gonna have 4 at home and not be a team, and these young guys and new guys to the team are by themselves for dinner and stuff every night. Like Gary Bettman, way to go, bud. Thanks for screwing us once again.
That itself could lead to an absence of cohesion, I guess, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
You get closer as a team off the ice, you'll play closer to a team on the ice, right?
Exactly.
Hmm.
All right. Well, Chris, you know what?
I don't know.
I'm gonna let you introduce what is happening right now. Our new segment. Go ahead, Chris. Let's hear it. No, Chris, let's hear it.
Well, I don't last week when we were talking, it's a massive fucking pet peeve of mine. The guys that make the predictions and go, I told you so. Hey, I called it. And that person's making predictions like fucking every day, and they get 1 right, 20 wrong. They never 19 times tell you, I got it wrong. I thought this would happen. Never fucking once. Never admit they're sorry. Always, I told you, I called it. I fucking called it. It just drives me nuts. And I ranted about it last episode. It was, yeah. And we have a mutual friend, more mine than Tyler's, that he'll readily admit. That is the prototypical that guy, and we came up with a segment that we call the ATODASO.
Hold on. We did not come up with a segment. Let me make that clear.
All right. It was my idea that we had a segment called ATODASO featuring my dear friend Mike Capspace, and he could give us his predictions and maybe enlighten us on what the Oilers are doing wrong and predict what we're going to do. And the thing about this segment, my friends, is that we're going to hold his feet to the fire. So, it's going to be on record. You want to make a bold prediction and tell us I told us so? Well, you better be fucking right. Otherwise, we're fucking coming after you, because I hate that shit. Drives me nuts. So that's why we came up with the idea. I came up with the idea. Yeah. So that's why I came up with the idea for that segment. And yeah. So I don't know. Our
Is he ready? Is he in the lobby? Is he in the lobby waiting for us or what?
Our esteemed friend Mike's actually at the game. He brought his earbud with him. So in fairness to Mike, I said 7:25. So whatever. There's lots. If
he's not available, I'm not going to be hurt.
There's lots to unpack though. What did you think of Stetcher against Calgary? Because I talked to a fellow last night, actually my brother-in-law, and he goes to every game. He's got season tickets, and we had a vastly different opinion of how Stetcher looked in Game 3 against Calgary. What's your take?
I think Stetcher is what you're getting. He's a serviceable number 6, number 5 D man, and he's got better outlet passes and decent feet. So I think you're going to get what you get from him.
Okay, but how did he look in game 3?
He's looking just about as good as everyone else in this team. He's coming back from Achilles surgeries. You're getting what you get from him right now. He looked like a number 5, number 6 D.
Okay, but like what I noticed about Stetcher is what I didn't notice. Like he didn't notice him at all. Like I read everything after the games. I read all of the articles from all the different guys. Like I try to figure out what everyone else is thinking and sort of help me form my own opinion. And like the old adage they say about defensemen, if you don't notice him, he's doing a good job. And we're talking like maybe bottom 3, bottom 6, the bottom 3, you know what I mean? Like of your decor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
And
know what you're saying. Yeah.
I didn't notice anything. I didn't notice Stetcher at all. Like he didn't look like ass. He didn't make any stupid mistakes.
You know why you didn't notice him? This is another thing we can talk about. The Oilers' top 3D played 22, 24, 25. The bottom 3 played 15, 14, 13.
So he got sheltered a little bit.
Yeah, you know what I didn't notice him? He wasn't out there. I understand your take. I'm not going to knock your take. But yeah, I was reading up some stats as us geniuses do. And yeah, unfortunately.
That's another thing. That's another thing Mike Capspace likes to talk about is the stats. And frankly, like I don't mind giving my opinion about stats too. I know there's a place for it in the game, and I know there's guys that specialize it, but the people that swear by it, fuck you. Like why don't you grab a beer, sit back and watch the game? There's a place for it, but I mean, holy shit, if you're gonna form arguments around this, that, this guy's GF percentage and all that shit, fucking Corsies and all that, like I don't mind the soft analysis, but when guys are like preaching it, holy shit, fuck off.
Okay, folks, for those that want to wake up, that was the worst rant of all time, and someone complained about numbers, giving us numbers, fucking like, woo, good job, buddy. That was awful. Let's figure that out.
But do you really get look at the stats and go, oh my god, like I was totally thinking something different about that game until I saw the guys fucking,
No, because the eye test is the only thing the eye test is my number 1.
Okay.
If I'm like, was that guy decent? I'm like, oh yeah, I think he was. I'm gonna go see what his stats look like. Because if he played decent and had great stats, that's a good game. But if you look shitty and you have good stats, well then you're shitty.
Yeah,
kind of like your career.
There's guys that have like the Fenwicks or whatever that are always really good, and like the stats guys just praise them, and then they watch out of the league in a year. I don't get that shit either.
No.
So since you're looking at it, how many minutes did Stetcher play?
He's averaging in his 2 games he's played, right? 2? No, he's only played 1 game.
Yeah.
He played 14:58 in that 1 game.
That's pretty respectable. That's more than
Shelter. Is like 16 times a day with, how many times? Yeah, never mind, folks.
That's more than sheltered, if you ask me.
I don't think so.
Well, I think that if a guy's played
I forgot he was playing the game against the Flames, so that's why I'm saying I disagree.
He's played over 400 NHL games, and I think I mentioned it last week. Guys played over 400 NHL games, and you play Dermott, who's 3 and change.
Vancouver and Arizona for Stetcher. Great. You played for 2 great franchises when you were there. Great take. AHL D-man playing the NHL. Just hammering your takes tonight.
I don't know. I don't mind him. I
don't mind him either, but you're wanting to talk about him like he's a god. That's my point. Like,
no, I'm not.
Troy Stetcher, he's a 5 or 6 D-man. Good.
He's better.
I'd rather discuss, I'd rather talk about the NFL big trades today in the NFL, throw a little NHL talk while waiting for Mike. You know that those NFL traits they are changing the landscape.
I'm just saying that Stetcher is better than Emerson and Dermott at this point.
Okay, cool. He played one game. Those guys played 2 games. Another great take.
He's okay. Whatever. Fuck you, Tyler. Like, you're not going to give me anything on this, eh?
No, because
Like-
it's my whole point is you're talking about waste of time stuff. This is exactly how I'm going to treat your friend Mike that wants to come on here and give me takes on number 5 and 6 D-men. It's like people thought Juju Mahara was the savior of the franchise. When he didn't resign here after getting knocked out 4 times, I was like, great, our team got better because Juju Mahara is on our team. Right now, our team's only going to get better if they get rid of Stetcher, Dermott, or Emerson. That's when we know our team's better. That's my point. We don't want to waste our time on these.
All right. After our ATODASO segment, which is coming right up, maybe we should look at that and say what are the remedies of these shitty defensemen we have. But
Yeah, we don't
try
have.
for
There
the
are
first
none.
time to play the intro to that, and then we'll bring Mike on. See if it
So
works.
bring a mic on, give her.
It's hard for me to say I'm sorry. It's hard for me to say I'm sorry.
All right, that's our ATODASO segment, and we're welcoming our friend Mike Capspace to the podcast. Mike, welcome
Does he
aboard.
really
TNC
have clear
Sports.
glasses and dark hair? What a dork.
Hey, folks, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah,
We
you're
can
coming
hear
in
you, Mike.
okay.
It's pretty loud here. So I don't want to take up too much time.
Your connection sucks.
Coming live from Studio 99.
Wow, that's a bad connection.
Yeah, you know. Chris, you know what to do. You know what to do,
Mike,
buddy.
are you hearing us okay?
You know what? We're going to try and get a better connection with Mike.
Oh, he
And,
says he's making device configuration changes. It's all right. So
okay,
While we
that's what
wait
makes
for-
it all right.
while we wait for Capspace to get on board here, so you were saying yourself that Stetcher, I agree with you. Okay, like if the best of those 3 guys ends up being paired with Kulak on the right side, I'm fine with that. But I don't think we have what it takes to get us to the deadline.
No,
You
I
know,
don't
and-
either.
Like, so what do you recommend? Because
We don't have. There's nothing available. This is the problem. Is that the others needed to win some of these early games, and try and stumble along. Like, I think McDavid needs to go nuclear for the next 10 games and carry us, and then get someone because you need teams to fall off and want to trade guys early. Like, who's going to admit to their? Oh, is he back?
Hey, sorry, guys.
no, I think we hear you a little bit better now. What's going on, Capspace? What's the buzz over at Studio 99 in Old Rogers Place in Edmonton, Alberta? Oh boy. Your face is a little clear, but we can't hear you very well.
He must be on Rogers. If he was on Telus, it wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, I know.
Good test. Go to the game and be honest.
So what's going on there, Mike?
I don't think he can hear us.
No, he's coming. His visuals.
I can hear you barely.
All right, so tell us what it's like over there at Rogers Place.
Oh, it's a little quiet. It's not as busy. It's not as much excitement. The morale is low, very low. So,
So what's your prediction for
we'll
tonight,
try to
Mike?
charge that up. Well, my prediction for tonight is the Oilers are going to win 5-1.
5-1. Book it, Tyler.
Yeah.
Mike Capspace, ATODASO, 5-1 Oilers.
They're angry. They're loaded up the lines. I actually really like the third line now. It's like I think they really balls down to it's just for top guys scoring. I think they can stop out together. they're going to score some games early, and then they're going to have yeah. I think they'll win this game.
We need to get better
Mike
volume from you,
Capspace,
Mike.
What?
We need to get better volume from you. I don't know
I
how we
can't.
do that.
All right. Probably could be my new earbuds. I haven't tested my camera.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways,
So,
so
I'll hop off, eh? Is that all right?
yeah. Whatever. If you want to jump back in, that's cool.
Okay, yeah. Anyways, good to see everybody. Oh, let's go.
All right. Let's go, Oils. Take care, buddy.
Cheers.
Well, just what you always wanted, folks. Your old buddy
Yeah, I'll
Chris
turn my
Mooney
camera
here.
back on. I was too embarrassed to keep my camera on. I had to turn my camera off. I was so embarrassed. Like, honestly, whatever he said, I don't care about his predictions. And those glasses, it was like a giant bug on the screen. I had to keep my face straight the whole time. I'm like, what is this, a bug's life? Like, I'm laughing. He can't even talk. He's all mumbly. That's loud in there, buddy. I can hear people behind you. But then you're talking like a little girl. Like, hi, my name's Mikey. I want to make a prediction, Mikey. Like that guy, like his testicles up in his fucking throat. Holy shit!
That was like those newscasts where the
Holy
guy's like,
cow!
"This is Mike Capspace from Hurricane Rogers, trying to brave the storm." There's a man
Holy cow!
there's a man floating on a
Like,
tin door with
what
his
bus
dog.
did he take to the game tonight? What bus did
What's
he
that?
take to the game? What bus did
Yeah.
he take to the game tonight?
I took our buddy Zuki. Happy birthday, Zuki.
No,
We
what bus did he
celebrated that
take?
on Friday.
And what bus did he take? Like, how did he get there? Never mind. It's over your head.
Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't see. It was kind of short.
You're gonna canceled. Well, I was
Right.
waiting for Bayrack to introduce. I was waiting for Capspace to introduce himself by telling us his pronouns too.
So, listen, I read
That's
an
the line of the
article.
night right there.
I read an article by Low Tide. He was talking about the guys that haven't signed yet that still got tread on the tires.
Yeah.
You know, and he included Giordano, but I don't know about that. I don't know if you
Yeah,
read
he's
that
too old.
piece, but he talked about
didn't
Shattenkirk.
read
He
it.
talked about Justin Schultz. And he talked about Thomas Lilgren with the Leafs, who's currently their number 8. So that guy's not even playing, and he played regular minutes last year, and he played his qual comp, which I'm kind of contradicting myself, but he played more last year on the same team that Giordano played on, the Leafs, against like the higher quality elite players than they trusted Giordano with, and I think they use that stat to show like how much faith the coach has in the player. So so I guess neither of them are on the team because he's their number 8. But Low Tide was making the case that he might be the best option on the right side against the 3 that we've got right now. I don't know what you think on that.
Well, I'm going to say 2 things, and this will be the last time I ever talk about an Alan Mitchell / Low Tide article on this show.
Well, I'm always I read him every day. I don't mind the guy. I like it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Alan Mitchell for me is too obsessed over prospects and young guys, and he just loves talking about this guy could be this. Well, I've been reading that guy's shit for 15 plus years since he was a moderator at HF boards. Every prospect he thinks is going to be great, outside from the obvious ones, none of them have been great, us or anywhere else. What he needs to do is trade away draft picks for players, start talking trades, get the word out there. His power might move a big needle. I don't know. About Alan.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know much about this Logan guy. I know that he didn't play big minutes when I seen Toronto play, but anyway, the cupboard is pretty empty as far as what's available to us, absent a big trade that we can't really make right now. So I think we're stuck with what we got. And what do you do? Call up Josh Brown? I don't think so. I like Ben Gleason all the way through camp this year and last year. And I know he's a left shot, but I'm surprised that well, I mean, it's only 3 games in, so again, panic button, all that. But it'd be nice to see some of those guys get a shot when you've got fucking absolutely nothing to lose with the the bottom 7 guys, the bottom whatever, it's the bottom 7 guys we got now, right?
I don't think none of those players, any of those players, make you better. Like I don't think that improves your team enough to sign another contract under your 50-man limit, right? Like it doesn't make sense to me. I'm just looking through what players you could trade for that are UFAs at the end of the next season, like end of this season. You know who the best guy on the list is? Cody Ceci.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Isn't that a kick in the balls, eh? Like he was awful
Yeah,
with
you know,
Nurse,
when
but
you
when they
got
played
till
him
it's
without
done.
Nurse, he was pretty good. Like, oh, yeah,
I,
there's
I,
not a
I
lot out there. I'm looking.
again though, like just like last week when I was talking about how goalies get overrated when the team caves as a 5-man unit, or sorry, when the team overplays the opposition as a 5-man unit. I think, like I said, you might see a lot better outlet passes if you had a 5-man unit and a little more support for those D guys in the corner. So, I mean, I think if we start playing a little more cohesive as a team and play more structured, it might remedy a lot of the defensive problems, because really that's what happened last year when Knobloch came in, right?
I have a question for you. Speaking of D-man, we could figure something out with. Like, is Mark Edward Vlasic still playing like bottom 4 minutes on the D in the San Jose Sharks?
That's a good question. He's ancient though, isn't he?
Is he okay? That's what I was just figuring. I would no, he probably is. Like honestly, like there's not a lot of guys that even have 1 year left after that in their contract that you could trade for as the Oilers. Like, there's
Yeah.
no Ekholm. Like there. People that are looking for a miracle. I'm looking at this list right now, folks, around my head here, and I'm like, it doesn't really like there's no one that's like worth moving the needle for, right? Like
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I looked at the buffet and I wasn't impressed myself. Uh, Something I wanted to touch on. Last night, we finished the Face Off show on Amazon. Everyone saw the clip with McDavid and the freaking out after Game 3, I think it was, and Game 2. And one thing that I noticed, and I think I posted it on our YouTube, was that um, like there was a big contrast between the Edmonton locker room and the Florida locker room, and specifically like Kachuk. And that guy was like just so fucking positive all the time. Like even when they were like it was 3-2 and then 3-3. I mean, like before Game 7, like it's like, hey, this is what we get, grew up wanting to do. This is like just that
so.
positivity, just really
Chris, do you not think
reverberated.
that this maybe was cut by the producers and the
Oh, I don't
executive
doubt it.
producers?
I'm not
It
saying
was
that.
probably cut to make Canadian teams look bad because Gary Bettman hates the Oilers and Canada winning. So, like, do you not think he told Amazon you can have this access if you make Canada look bad?
Oh,
You
like
can't
help us
tell me
shape
not
the
one.
product.
You can't tell me not one time did someone not swear in that Florida dressing room. It's only out here because McDavid's McDavid, man. This is a Gary Bettman trying to sour the fans on the Oilers.
Okay,
I'll give you a guess
that
who
might
my
be
AO.
true.
I'll give you one guess who my AOTW is.
Oh, like I have one from the show, but I'm guessing it's the little fella in New York. I've got a
Well, I
contender
mean,
though,
we
based
got
on
about 25 minutes left tonight, or a little less, because I gotta get ready for the game, and so does Chris.
I got a contender for asshole of the week, just based on watching that series. But I did want to say that though, like, when they go like you don't really know how to win and you have to learn how to lose. And
Yep.
honestly, like Florida lost in game, I don't know what game against
Game
Vegas
5.
in 23,
Game 5.
Game 5. And
Yeah.
like they've been there, they felt that pain, they felt that loss. And it's just their locker room. Like, I'm sorry, like I know there's lots of editing, and they actually they replayed a bunch of shit, like like something that you saw in episode 3, you see in 6 or 4 or whatever. And
Yeah.
that was a little sloppy, but honestly, maybe if I don't even talk about that, but the other room, there wasn't a lot of like, we got this, guys, like this is what we live to play for, we got this, And even when they had
But
the
we heard about
interviews
that
with,
from our local media that they were saying that. So that's why I'm saying this series was cut hard in my humble but probably correct opinion once again,
so
folks. That's Tyler
that
O. Always correct, never wrong.
you're right. You're right about as much as Capspace.
You look like a giant yellow donut.
Whatever, pal. No, like honestly though, I think that like it really matters, like in the room, like like I don't know, like, I'll tell a quick story, okay? If you give me a
Yeah, let's
minute.
hear it. Let's hear your quick story.
So,
Actually, I want to hear it.
when I was a kid, okay, I'll preface this by saying, like, on that show, McDavid, and I didn't even remember this from when I was a kid until like after I watched the series, but McDavid was talking about, pressure from the fans, pressure from the team, pressure from the organization, the city, all that stuff. Because nobody puts more pressure on me than me. And I thought, like, that's gotta fucking suck, man, because like, I mean, God, we feel it.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was a kid, one year when I was playing, and I was like captain of the team, and I think it was the first year I was made captain, and like I used to score a lot, and then like halfway through that year, I was barely scoring, like I was, like, gripping the stick too tight. I for some reason it just wasn't working out, and then my mom said, maybe you ought to, like, what's going on? Like, you're not. It doesn't look like you're having as much fun. You're not. You're missing a lot of chances. Like, maybe you ought to think about giving up the sea. And I wasn't having fun that year, and I did. And then all of a sudden, everything just changed. I felt like I started scoring more. I had more fun in the locker room, all that kind of stuff. And it's like there's pressure there. I'm proud to say I'm a better man now, but I'm just saying anecdotally, I could see how. I mean, can you imagine how uptight you are, how wound up you are? Like, you live and breathe and exist for that one very thing, and the chance that it could be jeopardized. I mean, there's two ways to go about it. You can go, well, if it goes, it goes. Or you can go, oh my God, everything I played for, it's like it's nothing. You know what I mean?
I'm a little disagreeing with you because I always say if you're a professional athlete, that's your job. If
Yeah,
you or I don't do our job, we lose our job. Same for them. Like, you know what? But they're
sure.
also getting paid 150x, 2000x. Sorry, you don't want to deal with the pressure and do all this? Well, then don't live in $10 million houses and travel wherever you want. Like, sorry, man, that's the benefits and the punishment for being famous and being good at your sport.
Yeah, and like, and who
They
knows
don't
what's in a
exist
man's
without
heart?
us. So I'm sorry. I don't never agree with the pressure. No, sorry. That's what you signed up for. You're getting paid to do that. Sorry,
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm disagreeing with you there. Fair
Uh,
fucks.
and,
Fair.
and
Fair.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm only speculating. I mean, who knows the answer? Like, who knows what's in a man's heart? But it'd just be nice to see a little bit looser outfit, even now. The guy's not so uptight and like having fun playing the game. Like, fuck.
Well, speaking of like showing man's all about. This is my example I always use. Remember Nick Bukestad that we acquired before the trade
Yeah,
deadline, then he signed back in Phoenix a year and a half ago. So
yeah,
he got offered a deal, just a 1-year deal, not for as much money as he ended up signing for back in Arizona, but he could have been on a winner. That
yeah.
guy wanted to go back and hide out as quick as possible and disappear. Those aren't the guys you want on your team to win a Stanley Cup. Those are the guys that are truly in it for the money, not to win. And guess what? You don't want players like that. I always bring that example up because that's kind of how I feel.
For sure. And don't get me wrong. Like, I know that is a completely different guy than what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about, um, none of us will ever be in like McDavid's shoes, like live that life or whatever. But just that observationally, the amount of pressure that guy has, the amount of pressure to produce. I mean, it must be overwhelming at times, and it might be hard to actually unwind and go, you know what, fuck, this is awesome.
You mean
Like,
when his personal chef's cooking him dinner every night and his personal trainers there telling him to work out, then he can sit in the couch with his oxygen leg pads on and watch TV? Yeah,
but it's like, like,
really
hey,
toughing her out.
I'm playing a boys' game with my best friends. Like, whatever happens, like, let's go out there and have fun, play the way we know we can, that kind of thing. I mean, fuck, I'd feel a lot better coming out of a locker room like that in the third than guys going, we got this. We know we can do this, right? Like,
Wait, are you saying you want the guy to be like fired up and swearing? Like, are you agreeing with McDavid? That's what I am. I'm on McDavid's side.
No,
I'm
it's
trying to. I'm
just more
confused by
like
your side here. I'm on McDavid. I'm glad McDavid did that. I'm glad McDavid lost his shit.
I'm not talking about that specifically. I'm talking about the
Well, I'm just
overall.
saying.
Like I'm talking overall. Like with the amount of pressure, it could tighten a fella up.
But
Where
what
you
that then that's irregardless. I'm sorry. He's making too much money, and I'm sorry, man. Be a man. Man up, you little bitch.
well,
Life's hard. Life's hard. Put a helmet on.
fair enough.
Like,
Just realize it. Yeah, I
you just
just go
realize
ahead.
what?
Keep talking. No,
You
no,
realize.
I was looking at something. Keep talking. Give me a sec.
All right, folks. Well, let's talk about tonight's game. I think the Oilers are gonna pull this one out. I think they will score a goal early in the first period. After that, they will have some pressure up, and then Philly will get 2 minor penalties called against them in the first period. And Oilers will pull one of those 2, bring them up to 2 for 7 on the year. They'll be up 2-0 after the first. Then they will have 1 scored back quickly by the Philadelphia Flyers. It'll be 2-1, and the Oilers eventually will make it 4-1. And then it'll be 4-2, and the final score will be 5-2 at the end of the game. I think McDavid gets 3 points. I think Dry gets 2. I think this is the bounce back time. Chris, any thoughts on tonight's game?
You're going like full cap space. You're predicting everything down to the wire. Like there's no better.
Well, you
way
asked me
be
to fill the
wrong.
time. You asked me to fill the time up, so I was filling the time up.
Okay. Well, a couple things. They did some pretty big lineup changes, huh?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, and so Knobloch to the media today after they asked him about it, he said he just wanted to get the guys going. But I thought that maybe there might have been a little bit of a defensive motivation there too. Because I mean, that game against Calgary when Rasmus Anderson had McDavid on his back from like their end all the way to our end when he scored. I mean,
Yep.
technically that's Skinner's guy. I know Skinner
Yep.
had a pretty good game, but that was his guy. And I think maybe you put him with Henrique and Brown, maybe they make up for some of his defensive shortcomings. I don't know. Like, and then I like there's the whole other thing that we talked about since the fucking McClellan years. Is it really smart? Like, when is the nuclear option ever work long term? Right?
Yeah, I know, and they keep going back to it. So, but I mean, I get it. You want to get, but even both McDavid and Draisaitl could be having better starts to the year. So, are they really? Maybe they need to get them going too right now, and they don't have the defensive power to get a jump shot like that, right? Like normally they used to have some defensemen that could do it.
Yep. Another thing about tonight, I think that Podkolzin's going to have a good game. He's looked really good to me from the start of camp.
Yeah, even since training camp, he looked good.
Yeah, and he's the type of guy that'll find that ice, and he's a pretty good finisher. So that I'm excited to see that. I'm not I wouldn't want to say I'm excited, but I think that Stetcher's going to, of the 3 guys that have had tryouts with Nurse in the last 3 games, Stetcher's probably going to be the
Tryouts
guy.
is what they are, right? Tryouts is
Yeah.
what they are. It's just embarrassing right now.
I think Stetcher's gonna look the best, whatever you say about him. And what about this? I read an article about an hour ago by Jim Matheson about Matvey Michkov, that kid out of Philly. Like they're
Okay, nope, I didn't
really
read that
pumping
one.
his
No, go
tires.
ahead.
He can't even speak English, and they're pumping his tires like he's his second coming.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like they had his interview. The kid can't speak English, and he doesn't do press except at home with a translator. And but holy cow, Danny Briere and Keith Jones, they were just talking up a storm about this kid. And I know they're in the sewer right now and they're doing a rebuild and they're big on fan engagement, but holy shit. That's a lot of weight to put on a kid's shoulders, even if he doesn't understand what the fuck you're saying. But at least they have him on the second line there. I keep an eye. I'm interested to see how he looks, just based on how bad they're pumping his tires.
Okay, I got to do this. I'm sorry. The guy that tried to join us in the show that sounded like an ass clown. Well, he just sent me and Chris a text, and he's like, the Canucks are 0-3-1 now. I'm just confused. They've played 3 regular season games. How do they have 4 games in the results you sent us, Mike? Do you mean they're do you mean that they're 0-1-2? I think they have 2 overtime losses, Mike. But I'm glad that you could try and pitch in and give us fake information, trying to screw us up. So if you could refrain from doing that, and maybe just be better, because you text us wrong information and make an ass out of me and Chris, and we don't appreciate that. Really, like literally, I'm looking at it right now. Nucks are 0-3-1 now. They're 0-1-2. A shootout loss and an overtime loss. Great job, buddy. Thanks for giving us the wrong info. Come back again.
I'm just gonna have a lot of fun.
He's not allowed back next week. Put it that way, folks. You won't see him next week.
I'm gonna enjoy
But
Mike's
Chris,
segments.
I want to get this wrapped up here, not go too long, as I have to prepare for the night game here. The Oilers game's at 8:00. They say it'll be 8:15, but I have to get some dinner in me and stuff, and I get hangry. But let's get into the asshole of the week here. Let's hear your nomination, sir, for the asshole of the week.
Okay. Can you pull up quick stats? Like, remember in the old days when we had the old podcast, we called it the Stat
Yeah,
Stop?
Gibber, what do you need? What do you need?
PK Subban, how old is he and how many seasons did he play in the NHL and how many teams? This fucking guy.
Okay. Mr. PK Subban, he played for 3 teams. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 years. For 3 teams, 834 games, 115 goals, 467 points, 905 PIMs. He is probably pretty close to a minus player his whole career. And he played for Belleville. I don't like him. So I hope you know I want to hear where you're going.
He's outworn his welcome every fucking where he's gone. And it seems to me that like a guy like that who in the prime of his career when he's like a genuine asset that teams don't trade away, he gets traded. And like Montreal traded him for fucking Shea Weber, and Shea Weber had a lot less tread on the tires than he did, but he wasn't a locker room guy. He wasn't a guy that guys wanted to be teammates with. He's not a guy that I just listening to the fella talk. He's not a guy that I would want to be teammate with. And then he goes, he's there. Like the other thing about that Amazon show is that the people that they had commenting, what who the fuck are you? What kind of pedigree? I mean, they had Biz Nasty on.
I think Jackie Redmond's very credible.
He can talk the game. Jackie Redmond.
No, Jackie Redmond's a girl. Jackie Redmond's a girl, the brunette.
I know that. I know. You say she's credible?
Yeah.
What's she been on?
She's worked for The Score, and she went to, and now she works for the NHL.com network. And she's been there and she interviews lots of teams. Yeah, she's got some little fucking background.
Okay, whatever. And then they have PK Subban, who somehow they bring out. He's like a guy standing outside. They're like, "We're short a man. You want to come into the broadcast booth?" Like, and he's talking about. And now listen, I could be objective about Matthew Tkachuk. I don't like the guy. I think he's an asshole, but and he is a gamer. Okay, he's a gamecock for sure. Like fair fucks to him with the sternum and all that. But when a guy like PK Subban goes, I'd go in the foxhole with him anytime. I'd have him on my team anytime. I'm like, fuck, he wouldn't want to be on your team, jerk off. Like, fuck you talking like you're the authority on what it means to be a good teammate when you got chucked off of 3. Like, fuck. And he left the game before his best before date. And that's how much teams wanted him in their locker room. So don't fucking talk to us about, oh yeah, that's a guy I would want on my team. Well, you're a team of one because nobody wants to fucking play with you. Asshole of the week. My opinion.
Okay, well, I can get behind that a little bit. Yeah, I can. I mean, my nomination is the man, Gary Bettman. Like this guy, he's such a weasel. Every time I hear him talk, I'm like, who is he trying to scheme right now? He truly hates any kind of Canadian fans. Yeah, he saved the Oilers because he knew they'd be a cash cow when the world changed. But guess what? He doesn't want us to win. He wants us to get this close, and then punish us when Connor McDavid embarrasses him and doesn't come up for the Conn Smythe. He hates that. You saw his face out there, like just clueless. You haven't seen it, folks. Sorry, spoiler. They have a zoom in on Bettman's face where it looks like he's going to cry like a little girl. He's getting his revenge right now, man. Like this officiating in the NHL right now is atrocious against the Oilers. Atrocious. 5 calls in 3 games. I'm not saying they would have won any more games. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying this officiating has been awful. And it all comes from the top. Gary Bettman's trying to scam the world again by keeping the Oilers down. So once their shooting percentage jumps where it should be, they're going to go on a tear again. It's just about them hitting that lucky puck luck.
Yeah,
And,
I hope you're right.
Gary
I hope
Bettman, the asshole of the week in my mind.
Okay, you were talking and it just made me think of something, so I'm gonna try the screen share thing here. Yeah, I think it's this guy. The way he talks, it's made me think of that guy on The Simpsons, that blue-haired lawyer dude.
Wow, that's 25 seconds of my life I won't have back. Sorry about that, listeners. I don't understand that joke, but I guess Chris does.
Oh, if you ever hear that guy talk on The Simpsons, it kind of reminds me of Batman. That's what you were talking. And you know what? I'm gonna give you Batman because mine is a little more personal. Like I just like, being a team guy or whatever. I fucking hate those guys.
I hear you.
Sergeys of the world.
Any last words that you want to spit out there tonight, Christopher?
Yeah. If we're intent on not circling the toilet bowl like in another 3 games from now, we really need to win tonight. But more importantly, we need to develop those good habits that we need to fucking play like a team that's going to win the President's Trophy and at least win the division. Because the Nashville is not going to be a tough out. Dallas is not going to be a tough out, and those are the next 2 games after tonight. So, we said that about Chicago, we said it about Calgary, but Philly truly is a free space in the bingo card, and it's like you have to carpe diem this one, man, because fuck. And it's like even if you do, what difference does it make if you're 1-5 if you lose to the Nashville and Dallas? So it's not just about beating the Flyers. It's about developing good habits. Like, frankly, I'd be just as happy if we won 2-1 than if we won 5-1 in a cakewalk because we scored 3 in the first. So, but again, to me, it's about developing those habits and getting nose to the grindstone, doing the hard stuff, like doing the stuff that you don't train all summer for, scoring goals, passing pucks, playing, committing 100% to playing full team defense, because seriously, we're not getting anywhere if we don't do that from the jump.
All right, that's good take. My kind of last thoughts are, so say the Oilers were 6-5-2, and then they lost 3 games in a row. Would it be treated the same as it is now? Like the sky is falling?
No.
So I'm treating it in my mind right now like it's just a 3-game losing streak in the middle of the season, and that is what it is. Sorry, I'm trying to be positive right now, and there's a lot wrong, but it's time for people to step up and carry us into a few W's, and it's pretty good. Yeah, so that's kind of my thought is I hope they win tonight because I don't mentally know how I'm going to do my driving. I have to do the rest of the week and listening to podcasts on how bad they are. So
I know
a
a lot of guys, and you're one of the guys I know the most and best. And frankly, Tyler, amongst all of them, you're at least in the bottom 10% in terms of positivity. So it feels really good to hear you be a little bit positive tonight. So I think that's a good way to wrap her up. For my part anyway, I'd like to thank Mike Capspace. Didn't work out so well on account of the game and the shitty network at Rogers Place, but it was a good crack, and we'll look forward to doing that next week. Tyler, any last words, my friend?
Yeah, next week we'll have a new and better segment. We'll have a lady joining us, and Capspace, as Chris wants to try and get his nickname going. I ain't calling him that. I'm calling him Dickhead or Mike, but he ain't going to be Capspace in my world. But yeah, he's on a 1 week punishment for his inability to commit to something and tell us you're going to the game. Cool, we won't bring you on. Don't embarrass us like that with your shitty connection. Anyways, folks, let's go oil. Let's go. Let's get our first big W on the board. And that's it. Chris, why don't you give me a call on my phone when we wrap this up?
Yeah, we can stay on board after. Thanks for the hang, brother.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Have a good night, folks. Go oil.